Is there something you do in particular, like a meditation or something that you do prior to meeting with your clients, or how you show them that they can trust you?
I think for me, and this is funny, may sound funny to some people, but I think that when you love people and and you just truly have a really good heart for people, you're not just interested in the dollar.
And they can sense it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. This is Camila from MCN Marketing Firm, your social media coach at 5 Stars Realty. Today, I have the privilege and the honor to interview an investor, realtor, and coach, J.R. Rodriguez. Welcome.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So this gentleman over here, we were talking a little bit behind the cameras, and I know a little bit about him, but we're gonna get to know him. And Jr., we were talking earlier that you started your career on 2006.
Yes, 2006 was the
Okay.
year, was that magical year that I started, yes.
Quite a bit ago, huh? You've
that
seen
was
it all.
That was the leap of faith, yeah.
Take us back a little bit. So I know you started in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
What sparked you? What was that spark that said, I wanna go in for the real estate career?
Mainly for freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah, punching a 9 to 5 is good when you're young. But after a while, you get a little older and you start getting a little bit wiser. And I said to myself, if I remain in this job, then this is what I'll always be. Mm-hmm. And I'll always be under someone's guidance, rather. You know, I don't know if that's the right word, but you know, when I thought about my job and I thought about the real estate career, and it's very rewarding. It was very rewarding getting into it, and I want to keep my thoughts clear. But the reason why I made that decision was because I didn't want to punch a clock anymore. I think that my freedom and my time is much more valuable to me than that.
Absolutely.
And in real estate, you have to really work hard. Like you can't just jump in and know everything and expect big results. Like it took time. Like anything, you know. So that's why I made that move. And also, mainly as I went along into my career, you know, you think about, I think about providing shelter.
Wow.
Yeah, because in reality, this is what we do. Real estate agents are not just driving Porsches and living fancy for some of us. But I thought about providing shelter, which is really important.
That's
so
beautiful.
You have children, you have mothers, you have fathers, and they need safe environments. So that's why I chose to do or chose to get into the real estate career. And that's still my motto today. My clients are not just my friends, they become family because they trust me with that. It's a really important decision buying homes.
Absolutely. One is the most
yeah.
scary one too, because it's a huge investment.
Very big investment, and that's where you're going to stay.
Especially for first-time home buyers.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know you wear quite a few hats.
I do.
You are a realtor, investor, designer, and coach.
Yes.
What came first?
Realtor first.
Realtor. Can you tell me a little
Yes.
bit, like the story?
Sure. Real estate, what came first was learning how to... I started at Carlson GMAC under this lovely lady named Penny Pepin, who was really sweet to me, and she guided me into learning real estate. Unfortunately, I didn't sell one house when I was with them. Not their fault, but it was more of, I needed the time to learn it. Plus, I was doing my job and real estate at the same time.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No, it wasn't easy, but my real estate career has been great. I've been in it since 2006, and I watched the recession that happened when the market kind of imploded. But
So that was a risk, right?
Yeah.
I think that was a risk because you were working your regular job, right? I'm assuming a 9 to 5.
yeah,
and then you decided, hey, I'm gonna go and learn, take the classes, right?
Yes.
Like the 60 hours. Is it 60 hours, right? So the
It
60
was so long
hours.
ago.
Yeah. So and then you started. So you were working your main job, and learning. Got the test, and what happened?
I passed it.
You passed
Not
it.
on my first one. It took me a few
Okay.
times to pass it. But I did get it, and because I was raising a family. I was married at that time, and had three wonderful girls, and then my son came along, Joshua, and my lovely
Wow.
ex-wife Sonia was
Beautiful
there with me
family.
too. Yeah, and I can't forget about my daughters, Elizabeth, Vanessa, and Emily.
Shout out to those
Yeah, those are my girls
girls.
right there, and my son Josh, who right now is an insurance broker for Homeland Insurance. Wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah, he's watched his father all through his years because I
I'm
had always
sure.
told him, I says,
You're a role model.
some people are not meant to have jobs.
It's true.
Some people are meant to be pioneers. And being a pioneer can be very lonely because you have all this creativity in you and you have this drive, and there has to be a certain timing and place for it.
And can you tell us a little bit, what was your mindset when you took the big risk? Because you're like, okay, at some point you were like, I got to go full time, right?
Yes. Well,
What was your mindset?
well. Here's that's a really good question.
Good.
In 2006, I got my license. Didn't sell anything until 2007, and then 2008 the market crashed.
Oh, yeah.
What do I do?
I remember that.
So
Yeah.
I still remained faithful to my real estate career. I still did some deals, but I started businesses. That's what I did. I was in the car repair business, the car parts business. I even got into fashion and owning women's boutiques, and I did a couple of athletic stores, just to keep my mind busy. But my real passion is real estate. I just needed those things to get me by, financially, to make sure to make ends meet. But yeah, I did several businesses and got back in 2020 full
Wow.
time. Why? Is because I was working at a fancy car dealer, and by the way, it's a job nobody wanted to give me. I walked in and they threw me out
Wow.
because I had no experience selling cars. So
Really?
yeah, oh yeah, threw me
And
right out.
nowadays they hire them
Yeah,
like
but for some
with no
reason,
experience
this
in
particular
GED.
dealer at Central Chevrolet in West Springfield, wonderful people. I've worked with them for 8 years, and it was a wonderful experience. I learned so much I think from 18 or 20 of the best top salesmen in the world, I think, for me,
Yeah.
because they can fight any objection and they can close any deal. So for a job that they didn't want me in there because I had no experience. But anyway, fast forward 8 years later, I was the number one salesman every year
Bravo.
out of 18 people,
Bravo.
and in units and cars.
You said in your face.
Right, but the reason why I succeeded in that was because I asked questions, and a lot of realtors don't ask enough questions. I feel that in any career, that if you want to succeed in it, then you have to go where people are really doing it and ask questions. Say, hey, how did you do that?
Right, right.
Can you teach me how to do this? Did I do something wrong? When you heard my sales pitch, was there something off?
Right.
And sometimes they tell you the truth. They'll say, hey, man, they smelled the blood even before you start speaking. Because in sales, there's certain ways you have to present yourself,
It's a lot of psychology.
Oh, yeah.
I sold cars for 10 years.
Oh, did you? Look at that.
I was with Honda, I was with Ford, and then I
Okay.
ended up at
No wonder we get along so well.
a
No.
whole dealership. So yeah, and ladies have an advantage sometimes that
Yes.
when they go with a wife, when they go with a girlfriend, they'd rather deal with a lady. You
Yeah.
know, car salespeople have a pretty bad reputation, unfortunately.
We do, yes.
But I'm surprised. This is new for me because I remember, well, I do marketing and they took me in like right away. I don't know, maybe because they needed somebody that speaks Spanish, but that's so true. When you ask questions, first of all, it's showing that you're interested to learn, right? And second of all, you are ahead of people, because the other ones are not asking, you're asking and you're learning. Now, can you tell us what was one thing that helped you to and not really in a good way. Like something, can you tell us something bad that happened to you that shaped you in a hard way, that made you who you are right now in the lifetime or in your career, that and something that had happened to you that you're like, oh man, this was tough, but you know why? Like I got up and this is who I am now because of it.
Well, I think that in my life, I learned how to be a fighter from a very early age because I had parents who were divorced and I was very young. So I really had to start my life at 16. I had to learn how to survive at 16.
Got the
So
goosebumps.
that meant working with my dad in his parts store and doing the best I could to help him out. We were in the auto parts business.
And so you've been entrepreneur since
Oh, yes. Oh,
very
my God,
early
yeah.
age.
I'm like
Wow.
jack of all trades, master of none, you know?
You were not meant for a 9 to 5.
No. Let me tell you something. Even I got to say, in the defense of my car job, my car selling job, I thought it was a great job, and I thought that it was wonderful because of the people that I worked with, because they were all seasoned salesmen. I'm talking 30, 40 years of learning how to make people buy something, and if you learning from that, I think can help anyone in the real estate business because at the end of the day, when you get in front of somebody, you have to convince them to trust you to sell their home, to trust you to do an open house, to trust you to walk in and out of their private place. And, you know, if you don't present yourself properly, I think you'll have a big problem, you know? Yeah.
It is tough to meet somebody, just, you know, a realtor, right? And trust with all your heart that they're going to be the right guidance for you.
Yes.
Is there something that you do at the beginning with, let's talk about buyers, right? Is there something you do in particular, like a meditation or something that you do prior to meeting with your clients, or how you show them that they can trust you?
I think for me, and this is funny, it may sound funny to some people, but I think that when you love people and and you just truly have a really good heart for people, you're not just interested in the dollar.
And they can sense it.
Correct. Yeah. So people can sense when it's like they say in my church, there's love in the room. I go to the First Cathedral in Bloomfield, Connecticut. It's my church home, but people have to trust you. And for me, the strategy is just be myself. I'm a people person. I love people. I want to see people prosper. I want to see them live safely. And mostly, you know, I'd like to see their families grow up. You know, they get little girls, little boys. They have their room. I don't know if you remember your first room, your own bedroom.
Oh, my
That was a
God.
big deal.
Wow.
It was a big deal to have your first bedroom, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think about all these things because I was a family man, you know, and I think I always will be. But that's what I think of, you know.
That's amazing.
Just true sincerity. Listen to their needs,
Absolutely.
and
Listen.
absolutely do not try to steer them in any way. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Right.
Touching a little bit about your coaching background,
Yeah.
tell us personally, what's the definition of wealth to you? And also tell us if that had changed over time, because you have been in the business for so long, right? And I'm sure you live it all. You have lived it through
I have.
COVID, the
Yeah.
crash in 2008, and now it's like a weird market, you know?
Yeah.
What's the definition of wealth to you, and if it had changed over time?
Well, in the beginning, wealth to me was money.
Money.
You know, when you're young and ambitious, that's all you really think of. But as time goes on and as you become a little wiser, wealth for me is being able to leave a wonderful inheritance for my children, number one. And number
That's
two is,
beautiful.
I think wealth is how you live your life and how you treat others, you know, and what kind of legacy you leave, you know. So when you're gone, people can remember you or they can't. You know, when you leave a legacy, they'll remember you.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's what has changed for me. So no longer is it money, even though I still fight hard to work to make sure I live a comfortable life and
We need
to
it.
do nice things. You know, I love to.
We need this green paper to
Yeah,
live.
one of my favorite things is I like to travel to eat, so I'll go
Yeah.
anywhere to eat. You know, and I travel to different states to eat.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Too bad for our area. Not too many restaurants in that area.
After we
except
die,
for
you
one.
know?
You know?
After we die, all we take with us is our experiences, right?
Right. So yeah.
What's your philosophy with investing? Do you believe that investing should be like go big or go home, or go slow and steady?
Well, you can't go big right from the beginning.
Okay.
I think investing comes in stages.
Okay.
And the first stage for me was making the decision to do it.
It's a tough decision.
That was a tough decision. You know, you could take 300-400 grand in the bank, and all of a sudden you invest it, and I was like, whoa, okay, now I have to wait for it to come back. So you have to right. But can you repeat that question again so I can have just a little clarity?
What's the philosophy? Like, what's your philosophy about investing? You know,
Okay.
some people think that investing it's something that you have to do flips, like flipping. Other people think like have a steady income. Like, hey, I will buy a multifamily today, and maybe I will buy another multifamily in 3 years. Do you believe that people should invest as much as they can and as quickly as they can, or they should go slow and steady?
I think they should go slow and steady and make sure that that's the decision they want to make, and do proper research. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know I heard a little bit behind the scenes that you also do commercial.
I do, yes.
So you
Yeah.
started with buyers listing commercials, or like everything just came at once?
It comes at once. I think that I had good training with a former brokerage that I was at to sell properties that the normal realtor would never even think he could sell. Okay. I think one of the biggest, I had a wonderful sale about 3 years ago. Probably one of the biggest ones I had. It was like $2.3 million.
Oof.
And it was a 26-unit building. And I had a wonderful coach. Her name is Stacy Sylvia, wonderful coach. And the first thing that we did was we stepped into this basement of this building, and the pipes, the waste pipes exploded in the basement.
Oh my God! As you were in?
As we were there.
Oh
So I'm
my
like,
God.
Stacey, are we getting hazed right now? Is this a hazing? Like, is this my hazing to sell these properties? I mean, there was stuff everywhere on the floor. We had it was crazy, and I don't even want to go into detail, but
When do you know it's a good property to invest? When, like, do you sense it like right off from paperwork, or when you actually see it?
say that again.
When do you know a property is good for an investment?
Oh,
When
yes.
you
Well,
read all the paperwork?
well, when you for me, like my brain thinks a little bit differently. Okay. So when I look at a property, I look at multiple things. I look at the address, the area. I look at the potential cost. I look at the size, and I check on Zillow to make sure that what I'm thinking to buy it at and what I'm thinking to sell it at kind of matches what's in that.
So you do like a strategy.
There's a strategy, yeah. Yeah.
Checkup.
And I think I wrote it down here. Let me see if I have it here. It's cost, strategy, timing, and quality.
Okay.
You have a lot of people out here flipping properties that don't really have the best interests of buyers at hand. You know, they paint over switches and they do all kind of things that are not cool, you know? So I look at it, I look at it like,
I seen
So
that.
I think the quality of, as you flip, your quality speaks volumes, and it speaks for you. And my strategy is, when I find a property, I look at how well a family can do in there. How much size? Can this really be a good fit for a family? And I look at obviously the cost, because so how you do it is, you find your property, you let's say you're buying it for 100 and your rental budget's 50, and your ARV, which is after repair value, could be 300. Well, that's a great deal. then you have your soft costs, your contracted costs, stuff like that. It may take 10 or 20% off of it, but it's a good return.
How long does it take you to do that research?
I can do it in an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. I can do it in an hour.
Efficient.
Yeah. I can walk in the property. I can look at it on the outside, walk in the basement, walk upstairs, and tell you what my rental budget is.
My goodness.
Yeah.
You see, my people? This
Yeah.
is the guy.
I can tell you what the rental budget is, yeah. And I can tell you if it's a good one or a bad one. Just recently, I picked up 5 properties that were all in the range of profits. You could make 100, 125 grand.
Oof.
So, and again, it's not as easy as
said,
because you have to have trustworthy contractors and trustworthy people to be around you.
Right. Those are the ones that actually helps to get that money back.
Yes.
See how much you got to put in and all that. So it's you will say it's very important when you start investing to have a portfolio of people you can call, right? I'm assuming.
Yep.
And if they don't have it, I'm sure you do.
Truthfully, the last 5 properties came right to me.
Wow.
The reason why they come right to me, and again, I got to go reiterate, is because of trust. Mm-hmm. So I think that in real estate, if you are trustworthy from the beginning and you don't have anything up your sleeve and there's no just me, then you're going to do well,
JR, tell us what's one of the things that keeps you motivated and you're not much about being hungry because you already said what really wealth means to you.
Right.
But what keeps you motivated, right, in an industry that is so competitive? Nowadays, everyone is on social media, or at least they try to be in social media, right? Mm-hmm. Back in 2006, we didn't have TikTok and we didn't have Instagram.
No. We had Polaroids. Yeah.
What keeps you motivated nowadays? I've seen it. It's a very competitive industry.
Well, what keeps me motivated is, I think for me, is just the way my heartbeat, man. I'm just I get up and I'm looking. I'm just wired like that.
Is it something natural that comes to you every
morning?
morning?
It just comes natural. Like my mentor, his name was Bob Bonavita. He was a wonderful Italian man from the south end of Springfield who took me under his wing and told me many good things. For one of the things that he told me, he goes, you got to make hay while the sun is shining. Oh, that may seem, kind of nonsense to some people. But when you look at a man who's had, over 20, 30 businesses, millionaire, left a legacy, you got to listen to people like that because they're old sages, Yeah. So he told me, he says, you got to make hay while the sun is shining. So that means don't be lazy. When the sun's out, get to work. Go do something. And he says, don't ever think you're better than anybody, even if you have money. Mm-hmm. And, I think about that now as I'm older, and it makes a lot of sense because we can't take it with us.
No.
Absolutely. You can enjoy it here, leave some for the people that you love dearly, and then you're off to the next location.
Man, that touches my heart. We're going to the second dimension.
Yeah.
Whatever is waiting for us. But that is so beautiful, JR. I have been enjoying this time with you a lot.
And a lot of my renovations are geared toward that.
I wanted to touch a little bit on the designing part because you do the signing. So how did that came all apart? Like, do you design, like you do flips? Like, do you design your own projects? Like,
I do. I give everything a theme. So this is one of my here's one of my secrets, and I'm going to give it to you and the people out here. But the reason I travel and the reason why I go to different restaurants when I travel and I go to different places, I love to travel, is because every one of my houses gets a theme of where I was from, where I was just at.
Wow.
Right. So when I go to Mexico, I look at the decor. I'm looking at lighting. I'm looking at walls.
Man, I want to see your houses.
Yeah, no, they're really nice. I think they're really great. There's a lot of people in my area that are doing wonderful flips and have great quality. But I got to speak for myself. My stuff at Numeri Design is just, we make sure that we're not cheap. Mm-hmm. We make sure that we give the houses elegance, style, cleanliness, and we want to make sure that when you walk in that property, your pipes ain't leaking. and you don't have any shorts in your electrical box,
Like what
or
happened
your
with-
roof's not leaking. So we make sure that when we go in, we do the plumbing rough from the basement to the attic. We do the all the electrical rough from the panels, changing panels or whatever we have to do to make sure the house is safe. Remove knob and tube wiring, and then every one of them gets a design. I was going to kind of get into giving a home like a theme. I call it, like one of them I wanted to call the Madrid.
You should.
Right.
There's
But I didn't
nothing
want it to
out
be
there
too
like
corny,
that. Listen, there is nothing too corny.
Yeah, because I was
nowadays.
told that, you got to, your flips, in essence, like you have to really think about a flip as I don't even want to say it, and this sounds terrible, but like I don't know, it's like you're dating. You're just dating,
Yeah.
We're dating for 3 or 4 months, All right, I did the best I could with you, and I got to go, So that means you can't really put too much emphasis because if you get too much emotion into your flips, you'll spend too much money.
Yeah.
So there has to be like a governor or a gauge that, that says, hey, okay, maybe, just maybe, we don't have to use that type of material here.
I'm
We can use
amazed
this.
with you. You can
Yeah.
do this flip, not get too lovely, doubly with the house, but still make it look so nice, like
Yes.
from Mexico or from Ecuador, who knows? Like,
Right.
what idea came to your head and you, oh my God, that's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Congratulations
Yeah.
to you for doing
Thank you.
that. That's
Thank you.
awesome. I never heard of that. Somebody
Yeah.
that will take the time to like give themes
Got to give it a theme.
to the houses
Yeah.
and the rooms.
Yeah.
So we touched a little bit about legacy. And unfortunately, our time is cutting short.
No problem.
And I want to do my rapid questions, which are the fun ones. But
Okay.
before we go, if you can take a look at that camera
Sure.
and tell the audience what's the legacy you want to leave behind you and to your family and your community.
Well, my legacy that I want to leave is a legacy of love. A love in everything that I do, everything that I touch. According to what I believe in, it prospers, it blossoms. So I like to think of my legacy as everybody that I touch, I see the beauty in them and they see the beauty in me. They see the appreciation in them. I see the appreciation in them. They see the appreciation in me. And also with my designs, when you design a property and you do a nice flip, you sell it and you kind of tend to you forget about it. But I don't. I think about, like, I like to drive after the sale's done, like maybe 3-4 months, and I see the kids rolling around the grass, and they're happy, and their families are over. That's what I want to see. That's the legacy I want to see. I want to see families safe, in good environments, in safe homes. And also my legacy has to do with making sure that I leave a piece of myself in everybody that I come across to. So, for instance, like my son, I've always talked to him through his young age to his now, Joshua Rodriguez from Homeland Insurance. I got to give him a plug. That's my boy.
Good shout out to your son, please.
He's my children are one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life. So I want to make sure that I leave a legacy for them. And slowly but surely, my daughters will get into real estate. They, one of them are already calling me. I'm taking my test, Daddy. And the other two, I'm watching them because they're coming along too at some point. So.
All right, my people, it's very my God, time flies.
Yeah.
Before we go, quick questions.
Sure.
What do you do first, coffee or emails in the morning?
Coffee and prayer.
Coffee and prayer.
Big,
Okay.
huge.
What's your favorite room of a house? Living room, bedroom, kitchen.
I would say the kitchen.
Kitchen.
Yes, because I do a
All
little. One of the things that I do is I like to challenge myself. I go to all these places to eat, and I say, if I paid $60 for that meal, I want to learn how to make it at home. So
Good.
I actually gotten pretty good at that. And a lot of peers, my area, they're, Jerry, when are you going to open a restaurant? When are you going to open a restaurant? No. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing everything that you do, man. Like I will not be surprised if that's your next one.
Yeah.
All right, JR. Well, thank you so much. We're so happy that you you took the time to come all the way here to talk to us.
Yeah.
People get to know you. Tell people real quick, what are your platforms where they can find you?
Instagram at JR Rodriguez Realtor, and at Facebook, It's just J.R. Rodriguez.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
Yep.
Thank you so, so much.
Hey, my pleasure.
I hope to see you pretty soon. I would
Yeah.
love to see your houses, definitely. And here you have it, my people, J.R. Rodriguez. If you want to know a little bit more about him, please, please, please make sure you check out this episode. See you at the next one. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.